તાજા સમાચાર તમારી ભાષામાં મેળવવા માટે ડાઉનલોડ કરો ગુજરાતી મિડ ડેની એપ.
બસ છે તો બિઝનેસ છે. આપણે જ્યારે કોઈ પણ સફળ બિઝનેસમેનની લાઈફ વિશે સાંભળીએ ને ત્યારે એમનામાં કેટલું ડિસિપ્લિન છે, કેટલું શિસ્ત છે, કેવા સવારે 5 વાગે ઉઠી જાય છે ને 9 વાગ્યા પછી ફોન નથી જોતા, આવું બધું આપણને સાંભળવા મળે. તમને એવું થાય કે હવે જો ભાઈ પૈસા હોય એટલે માણસ તો ટેવ પાડે. પણ એક સાયન્સ એવું છે જે એવું કહે છે કે 21 દિવસમાં તમે તમારી કોઈ પણ આદત બદલી શકો છો. આદતો શીખવાડવા માટે પણ હવે આપણી પાસે છે ધ હેબિટ કોચ. આજે આપણી સાથે છે આશદીન ડૉક્ટર. એમણે પુસ્તકો લખ્યા છે, એ પોડકાસ્ટર છે. એમણે આ કરિયર કેવી રીતે બનાવ્યું, લોકોને સારી આદતો કેળવવાનું શીખવાડીને પણ તમે કરિયર બનાવી શકો છો, રાઈટ?
Absolutely.
સો દેટ્સ વોટ વી વોન્ટ ટુ નો ફ્રોમ યુ. હાઉ ડીડ ઇટ ઓલ start?
Family business chhe, market research ni business chhe.
Okay.
So that I did for 15 years.
Okay.
And became very good at it. But there was a soul satisfaction now to them.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to help people. I wanted to see people changing their lives. So I started habit coaching. Now, habit coaching, koi ever heard of it?
હા, એટલે આવું કોઈ સાંભળ્યું ન હોય. યુ નો સ્કૂલમાં આપણને મોરલ સાયન્સમાં સવારે શિક્ષક કે ઉઠીને બ્રશ કરવાનું, મોટાને પ્રણામ કરવાનું, પણ હવે એ તો નાનપણની આદતો છે, આપણે કેટલું ફોલો કરીએ આપણને જ ખબર છે. પણ ધીસ ઇઝ અ વેરી ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ થિંગ. એટલે આ કેવી રીતે વિચાર્યું કે હેબિટ કોચિંગ એવી બાબત જેને તમે તમારું કરિયર બનાવ્યું?
કારણ કે આપણી આખી લાઈફ જે છે એ આદતથી બનાવી છે.
Exactly.
So, for example, the actions that you take, the thoughts that you have, they are all habits. Imagine every morning you wake up and say, "Arey, my life ekdam bakwas chhe." So, શું થશે?
Yeah.
Your life is going to feel like this.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. So, it is all a habit. And I realized that we have to start making these changes if we want to live an awesome life. And I want everyone to live an awesome life. Why are we struggling? Struggling is also a habit. Every time you think you're struggling, it is in your mind. Right? You can make a change and then you can stop struggling. So the whole idea was, how do I help people in making these habit changes?
But then did you think that you will actually make a career out of being the habit coach? એટલે કોઈની ટેવ બદલવી, જનરલી એવું હોય ઘરમાં પણ છોકરું ઘર ગંદુ રાખતું હોય, પોતાનો રૂમ ગંદુ રાખતું હોય તો મમ્મી દિવસમાં 4 વાર કહે, વારંવાર શું કીધા કરે છે, હું નહીં જ કરું. અને આઈ હેવ નોટિસ દેટ વોટ હેપન્સ કે જ્યાં સુધી કોઈ પણ માણસને, આઈ એમ નોટ ટોકિંગ અબાઉટ અ ટીનેજર ઓર અ 28-year-old ઓર અ 40-year-old, એવરીવન, જ્યાં સુધી એ માણસ પોતે નક્કી ન કરે ત્યાં સુધી એ કશું જ બદલતો નથી.
Correct.
That's what I feel. In that case, એક હેબિટ કોચ તરીકે ટુ ડિસાઇડ કે ઓકે હવે હું આ કરીશ અને પછી એ ડિરેક્શનમાં કામ કરવાનું, એ કેટલું અઘરું હતું કે કેટલું સહેલું હતું?
So it was interesting. I said I will take 5 clients in the beginning.
Okay.
End of the year we had 25 because people started seeing a benefit and telling friends. So it was all word of mouth thi આખું business શરૂ થયું. And you are so right. Unless you have an intention for changing, no change is possible. Exactly. Right? I can tell you brush your teeth, but unless you want to brush your teeth.
You won't. Exactly.
And all our habits we think come from our, when our parents told us, you must be doing this, you should do this. And my second book, it's for children. So I go and talk to students in schools. And when I say habits, they say, I don't want habit. And then I realized that the word habit is bad for them, because their parents are forcing them. So I tell them, my job as a habit coach is to make your life easy. You want to make your life easy? Then they're like, yeah, I want to make my life easy. So that is how you have to think about it. Your habits are there to make your life easy. Do you want to make it easy or you want to make it hard?
અને આપણે જ્યારે હેબિટ્સની વાત કરીએ અને તમે જે પ્રકારના ક્લાયન્ટ્સથી શરૂઆત કરી, તમે ક્યારે શરૂઆત કરી? અને તમે જસ્ટ જીફીમાં કીધું કે 5 જણથી શરૂ થયું ને પછી વર્ડ ઓફ માઉથથી વધારે લોકો સુધી પહોંચી શકાયું. એ બિઝનેસની આખી શરૂઆત કેવી રીતે થઈ? તમે સ્ટેપ બાય સ્ટેપ કેવી રીતે આગળ વધ્યા? એની જો તમે ડિટેલમાં વાત કરો, that will be great.
Lovely. So I had this idea about 8 years ago, and I did my research on habit coaching. તે વખતે there was no concept of habit coaching. Life coaches હોતા, fitness coaches છે, પણ habit coach નહીં. So I started telling my friends that this is what I'm going to be doing. And they said, I have seen your transformation, Ashdin. You can come and teach me. So that is how the process started. Then at the end of the first year, we started the Habit Coach podcast. And for the first time, I realized the power of being mass. 5 people you can help, 25 people you can help. But with the podcast, 250,000 people you can help, right? So suddenly you're saying, wow, I can help so many people. And that is where the whole idea of the business started. So now I was doing one-on-one coachings, then I could do workshops because there were so many people that were there. The podcast was doing well. We started writing books. So there are three books that are bestsellers that came out this year.
Yes.
And that is the way the habit coaching business grew. We started off by being, very, very niche, but now we are even more premium because of the time as you pass through. So the whole idea is, how do you think about your business from being niche because you can charge more for a small number of people versus being mass for, like workshops and books and things like that.
Yeah. અને આઈ વુડ સે કે સી એક અપર મિડલ ક્લાસ માણસ જે મુંબઈમાં રોજ સ્ટ્રગલ કરતો હોય ટ્રેનમાં ધક્કા ખાઈને શેરિંગની રિક્ષાઓ શોધીને એને કદાચ એવું થાય કે આ બધા તો હવે મોટા માણસોના ચોચલા છે, આપણે શું હવે, આપણે તો એ જ કરવાનું છે ને. સો આ પ્રકારની જ્યારે મેન્ટાલિટી સાથે ત્યારે તમારે ડીલ કરવાનું આવે તો વોટ ડુ યુ ડુ?
Like we were talking earlier, there is Saraswati and there is Lakshmi. We are all running after Lakshmi. But you realize that only once Saraswati first comes in,
and then Lakshmi
only
enters.
then Lakshmi
Yes,
enters.
that's true.
Correct? So Saraswati has to enter your house first. How does Saraswati enter your house? When you are traveling by rickshaw, are you listening to something that is teaching you something, or are you listening to entertainment? So I say university on wheels is a very good habit. You're on wheels, turn it into university. Start listening to a podcast, start listening to an audiobook, and start growing your mind. I was talking to my accountant the other day, and I was saying, I akhi motti habit coaching ni business, how did it start? It started only because 7 years ago I started reading books on health, fitness, on making changes, on improving your life. Those books taught me how to do what I'm doing now. So if you want to get out of my middle class, I'm Mari life chhe, the only way to do this is to first
change
and start by worshipping Saraswati. Get knowledge in, automatically Lakshmi will come.
અને તમે જ્યારે શરૂ કર્યું બિફોર દેટ યુ સેડ કે તમે પોતે વાંચવાનું ચાલુ કર્યું કે આ શું છે હેલ્થ વિશે, ફિટનેસ વિશે, પ્રેઝન્ટિંગ યોર સેલ્ફ ઇન પબ્લિક એન્ડ એવરીથિંગ, તો એવી કઈ વસ્તુઓ હતી જે તમે તમારા પોતાનામાં બદલી પહેલા?
બધી જ ચીજ. I don't teach anything unless I have practiced it.
Okay.
Because only once you practice can you teach confidently. Correct? So there are certain things that I'm not confident talking about. For example, phone addiction. I'm still addicted to my phone. So I can't tell you not to be addicted to your phone till I become better.
True.
Correct? I started doing 100-day no sugar challenges. Koi wakat samajh 100 days of no sugar. Not only in sweets, but dal ma bhi no sugar, no sugar in any food. And it changed my life. So now I could tell people how important it is in your life to change. Have you ever tried no sugar?
Yeah, I have.
Without anything 100 days. It is mind blowing.
Not 100 days, but yeah.
Your skin changes. There's a glow that happens.
And if you suddenly eat sugar, you feel tired.
You feel tired.
10-15 દિવસથી ન ખાધી હોય ને તો પણ એવું થાય. 100 days તો બહુ લાંબી વાત છે, પણ એમાં 15 દિવસ માટે પણ તમે ખાંડ ન ખાધી હોય અને suddenly you have sugar, you are like, હવે કંઈ કામ નહીં થાય.
Correct.
It happens.
It happens.
I agree.
So I have to practice first before I teach. So there is a very simple formula. Learn, do, teach. And this way you can do anything. So you first learn something, then you do it yourself, and then you teach somebody else.
And as you know, this is called Buzz Chhe to Business Chhe. Let's talk a bit about, your business model and how you basically, કારણ કે podcast છે કે social media છે, એ બધું તો, I can't say કે just it was already there when it was there, પણ એટલું બધું આપણે ત્યાં, exposure નહોતું લોકોને. તો તમે basically એ business તમારો આખો કેવી રીતે develop કર્યો અને what kind of change do you see, લોકોના acceptanceમાં શું ફરક આવ્યો છે આ બધી બાબતોને લઈને?
તો આ business modelનો એક very important word chhe. My finance consultant taught me this word called future asset. Future asset no meaning શું છે કે હમણાં શાયદ પૈસા નહીં આવશે, મગર it grows to become something that will give you money in the future. So when I made this business, it was all about creating many future assets. While the one-on-one coaching was giving me money immediately, podcast started giving me money 4 years later. The book will start slowly giving me money over the course of my entire life. The workshops the online courses that I've created will give me money for the rest of my life. So our future assets chhe. And you can think about creating lots of future assets for yourself. So if you write a book, the royalties are future asset. And in that way, you make many small businesses out of your one big business that you're creating.
વેરી ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ. અને સોશિયલ મીડિયાનું જે બૂમ થયું ઇન્ડિયામાં, અને આઈ થિંક લોકડાઉનમાં તો એનીબડી એન્ડ એવરીબડી વોઝ ઓન સોશિયલ મીડિયા, તો એનાથી આઈ થિંક બહુ મેજર ફરક પડ્યો બિઝનેસમાં, એવું કહી શકાય.
What was interesting ki during the lockdown, lots of people started a podcast. So everyone was telling me, Ashdin, now aren't you worried? You are number one podcast. Now suddenly there are 1,000 podcasts. Competition has increased. And I told them that there's only one thing. Most people will start a podcast and they will stop it.
Consistency.
They don't have the adat of the podcast. Correct. I have one episode every day that comes out. That means 5 episodes a week. Do you think people have the consistency doing 5 episodes? No. That's why I'm habit coach.
Oh, wow. So let's, as we are talking about making your business successful, let's say એવી કઈ 5 આદતો, એવી કઈ 5 ટેવ તમે કોઈને સજેસ્ટ કરશો જેને પોતાનું કંઈક શરૂ કરવું છે, એ કશાનો પણ બિઝનેસ હોઈ શકે. એ સોશિયલ મીડિયા ઇન્ફ્લુએન્સર તરીકે કરિયર બનાવવાની પણ વાત હોય કે કોઈને લખવું, એનીથિંગ. એવી કઈ 5 આદત છે જે એ માણસે બેસિક શરૂઆત માટે બહુ નેસેસરી છે અને એ કેળવવી જોઈએ?
Love this question. First habit is the habit of knowledge. How we were talking. Saraswati aave, Tare Lakshmi aave. 1 hour a day for studying. So either reading a book, watching courses, doing something where your mind is exploring. So some people may be wanting to start a bakery at home. So are you good at learning new bakery techniques? So 1 hour of learning every day. So this is one important habit to start off with. Second habit is 2 hours in a day dedicated to your new business. What happens is that we go to work, we come back and then we are tired, right? Or there is so much family work happening that we keep thinking, I will make business in the future, 5 varas chali jaye, much, right? So what you have to do is you have to do 2 hours a day of your focusing on business. Now this can be either the study time also that you've included, or you can dedicate focus time to grow your business. This way you're putting time into your schedule. It is important now. That means you don't go out for dinner if you don't have to, right? Your social life might slowly reduce because you've given more priority.
You learn to say no.
You learn to say no.
Yeah.
Right? I was talking to some monks from ISKCON temple the other day, and they were saying that life is about sacrifices. And I was saying that yes, it is about the choices that you make.
Choices that you make.
So they don't have to be sacrifices, they can be choices in this way. The third habit is to find 2 people every week from the industry you want to join. So who can help you in your business? There is a saying that your network is your net worth.
Always.
Right? The kind of people you know is the kind of business that you will have. So look out for 2 people every week. I normally tell one new person a day, but that becomes too much for people. 2 people a week, message them on Instagram saying, I love what you're doing. I would like to learn also how to. And you'll be surprised people reply. So that is the third habit that you have to start. Fourth habit is the habit of journaling. Apna manma itlu kachra chhe. There is so much junk there. When you
it
journal,
is like Western Express Highway.
Too busy. So many things happening at one time. So when you journal, all that kachra comes out on paper. Then you take that paper and actually throw it in the kachra ka dabba.
Throw it or burn it.
Whatever you want to do. It's out. This way your mind is now free. So many people have this thought of, I'm not good enough. I won't be able to do this.
Imposter
syndrome. All that comes in. So when you journal, you actually say, is there any truth to this? I sachi vachha hai. There's truth. Can I actually become this, and how do I do it? So journaling is the 4th important habit. The last one I think is understanding your finances. So the same way in which you are dedicating 2 hours of the day to your business, you dedicate a certain portion of your income towards your business capital. Because we know once the business takes off, cash flow no issues avse, right? Most companies fail because of cash flow issues. Even if they are successful, they can't continue because of cash flow. So you want to get your cash flow in place. I say save 10% of whatever you have as an income, put it in as an investment into your business. If you follow these 5 habits, you can probably start your new business from tomorrow.
Wow. this is really interesting, and I'll tell you very frankly કે એવું નથી કે આ બધું નથી ખબર. આપણે જ કદાચ એટલે મે બી કદાચ મેં જ સવારે કોઈને આમાંથી 5માંથી 3 સલાહ આપી હશે, પણ જ્યારે કોઈ બીજું કહે ત્યારે એવું સમજાય કે હા it is actually doable.
Yes. And it's possible because I help people with this. I've done it myself. Like I told you, I do it myself, so I tell people to do it. Only then does it make sense.
We are in a field where we have to talk to people, we have to meet new people, interactions, communications don't stop. Do you ever get tired of communication? Because then you also need your space, So how do you manage that?
So I do two things. One is that I never get tired of talking to people because I genuinely believe I'm interested in the person talking.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in what the person
then
is,
it will not tire you.
Then it will not tire you out. When is it tiring? It's tiring when you wish you were having lunch. When you wish you were doing something else.
True.
You're wondering, why am I sitting in this room? Then it becomes tiring. But when you're with a person and you're saying, let me understand the human behind this, let me understand the child in the person, then it becomes very different. And it is very simple and not tiring at that point. But the second thing I do is I spend a lot of time by myself. This is important for me to recharge.
Yeah.
So I'm an introvert. I recharge when I'm by myself. So I spend time. If I'm at a party, I will go to the washroom and I will spend 5 minutes going, and then I'll come back out. So like this, you create your little moments of recharging.
Your spaces. Discipline વાળી શિસ્તની જે આપણે હેબિટ્સની વાત કરી કે how can you develop yourself for your business, and but then there are bad habits. And we all know about bad habits are so tempting, right? Lucifer આમ ડિઝાઇન કરી કરીને મોકલી કે જાઓ મજા કરો. તો જ્યારે તમારી પાસે કોઈ કેસ આવે કે ક્લાયન્ટ્સ આવે અને see they know that they want to change, પણ એને સમજણ નથી પડતી. અને see એડિક્શન માણસનું હોય, ફોનનું હોય, આલ્કોહોલનું હોય કે કોઈ બીજી વસ્તુનું હોય કે ઇમોશનનું હોય, એમાંથી બહાર આવવું બહુ અઘરું છે because addiction is addiction at the end of the day. તો એવા કેસમાં how have you dealt?
So first thing is I say that there are no things as good habits or bad habits. So I say there are habits that are taking you towards a goal or taking you away from a goal.
Away from goal, yeah.
Most people don't have a goal.
They only goal.
Goal. It's like a ship. If a ship doesn't know what destination it has to go, it will go goal. So you first have to get a goal. Now once you have a goal, you have to decide whether this habit is good for you or not. If you want to live till 120, maybe smoking might not be a habit to get there. But if you are saying that my goal is to enjoy every moment of life, I don't care if I die at 30, then smoking is in line with you. So you have to figure out what your goal is. Then accordingly, you can make a change.
Right.
Now, so if you've decided that you're going to live to 120 and you realize smoking is not going to help you,
obviously you'll quit.
But you won't obviously quit. You'll have to first break the addiction. Dhire. So you start, if you're doing 20 cigarettes a day, you start with reducing one.
Yeah.
Right? A very simple habit is don't carry cigarettes with in your pocket or in your bag. If you have to go to a shop and buy one.
Yeah, and then you will stop, આખું જે
cycle,
છે જવાની.
it'll break
it
in
will
that
break.
way. And the best way to get over a habit is to add a new habit. So normally say somebody goes for a smoke immediately after their lunch. Instead of that, use that time to pick up and call a friend or somebody that you're dating or something like that. So what you're doing is you're replacing the cigarette with something that you also enjoy, and then you don't necessarily need to go down after that. In this way you slowly start making tweaks to your habits.
પણ આ તો એક ફિઝિકલ અને મેન્ટલ બંને ભેગી એવી એક આદત થઈ, પણ ઇમોશનલ બ્લોક્સ હોય છે લોકોને કે ના મારાથી તો આ નથી જ થતું, કે મારાથી તો આ નહીં જ થાય, કે I mean I'll just share something. Someone just told me that મને નથી લાગતું કે I can finish my graduation. I just don't feel like going to college, where I can see that there is maybe a mental health issue. Or my first response to that person was that, see, it's like you have crossed 70% of the English channel and now you're saying no, I'm not going to મધુદરીએ તો ડૂબી જ જવાશે ને, એના કરતાં તો તરી નાખવું સારું. When you don't know what to do, at least do what you're doing.
Keep
right
going.
now. Showing up is something, it always helps. That's what I feel. So when you come across people like this, જે લોકોને mental blocks છે, because then I think when it comes to habits, mental health becomes a very major issue. પછી એ સારી આદત હોય, ખરાબ આદત હોય. ઘણા લોકો they are, positivity ની એટલી વાત કરે કે તમને દે કે ભાઈ હવે this is toxic positivity. इतना positive नहीं हो सकते, ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया. You know what I'm saying? So when you are dealing with cases like this, what do you do?
So you have to first understand where is this emotion coming from.
Exactly.
Many a times, what I'm seeing right now is that people are just tired. They don't have energy. If you don't have energy, you cannot make good choices. And if you don't have energy, automatically the negative thoughts come to the surface.
Always.
Because negativity is easier to have than positivity. So the first thing you have to do is you have to create your energy habits. So are you eating good quality food? Are you getting sunlight? Are you moving your body? You will notice that most people who are in a loop of negativity are not doing these things.
True.
So I start with these physical actions. Like you said, physical, કરી શકાય.
પણ
So-
I think कि physical એટલે ऊपरी सतह पे होगा तो अंदर
Correct.
जाएगा,
So you
right?
start with this.
Yeah.
You'll notice that many people who want to change their life first start with exercise or running. Why? Because it's
Physical.
easy to do.
Yeah.
It's easier than changing your entire mindset about this. So you start with these small physical practices, and then once you start feeling more energetic, automatically the emotions will stabilize.
Right.
Then you start putting positive emotions inside. How you do this? Affirmations are a great way.
Always.
And it is not like you said toxic positivity affirmation.
Yeah.
It is not I am a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Te ganto. No, doesn't work like this. You have to realize that the affirmation has to have a hint of truth.
Logic. Yeah.
Logic હોવું જોઈએ. I have a millionaire mind. હા, millionaire mind છે. પૈસા આવશે.
આપશે. આપણે માટે જ કામ કરે છે બધા.
Exactly. So you have to start thinking like this.
Yeah.
You know. So once you get more energy, you then start putting in the right thoughts. Once you start putting the right thoughts, automatically your life direction starts changing and moving.
Wow, very, very interesting. And once you started working, then you decided that, okay, I'm going to make my career out of this. You wrote 3 books. Which were the moments when you felt કે હા મેં કંઈક અચીવ કર્યું છે? કારણ કે તમે તમારા ફેમિલી બિઝનેસમાં હતા, એક કમ્ફર્ટ, એક બેઝ ઓલરેડી હતો, પણ કંઈક નવું કરવાનું અને એ કોન્ફિડન્સ હતો કારણ કે ખબર છે કે ફોલ બેક થવા માટે એક છે સપોર્ટ, પણ છતાં પણ we always feel કે હા this is the point કે જે મને એવું લાગ્યું કે ના મેં કંઈક વર્થવાઇલ કર્યું છે. એવા કયા મોમેન્ટ્સ છે when you felt that yes?
I'll give you 3. The first moment was the year after I started my podcast. There was an article that was published in an international paper which said the top 10 podcasts in the world. Tema all my heroes na podcasts were there along with mine. So
Sweet.
there was Anthony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Tim Ferriss, which are podcasts I used to listen to. And then there was Ashdin Doctor and the Habit Coach.
Wow.
I tell you, I started crying right there. I was like, my God, this is such a satisfying feeling.
Wow.
So this was the first one that made me feel. Second is during the lockdown, many people were going through mental trauma. Almost on a daily basis, I would get messages from people saying that because of this podcast, it helped me out. There was a person who said, because of your podcast, I didn't take my life. There was a suicide attempt that was this person was trying. These are the moments that you're realizing that you're really giving back to society and you're making a difference the way that you had originally planned. Yeah. Right? It was not only for Lakshmi, it was about how do I give back. And the last moment was when I was talking to my father and I was telling my father and I was saying that you realize that your inheritance to me is not the money that you're leaving me. It is my ability to help others. Jared, that realization happened to me. I said that, okay, I know that this is the path that I want to be on.
You are on the right path. Really warm and, fulfilling. But, career and business ની ફરી વાત કરીએ. See, you are in Bombay, it's a metro city. અને metro cities માં આ બધી બાબતો માટે લોકોમાં જલ્દી awareness હોય છે. People look for these things. But there are people who are maybe in tier 2 cities or smaller towns. Of course, podcast છે. પણ to reach to more people, ડુ યુ થિંક યુ વુડ લાઈક ટુ ફાઇન્ડ સમ વે કે તમે વધારે ને વધારે લોકો સુધી પહોંચી શકો?
Yes, that is the next mission for me. So my mother started a NGO called the Light of Life Trust.
ઓકે.
And the Light of Life Trust is about helping underprivileged children in rural India get out of the generational cycle of poverty. Matlab, their grandfather was poor, father was poor, they are poor, right? Generational cycle of poverty. We make sure that they stay in school and they learn life skills. I banne cheez. So the life skills part is very important.
બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ.
Because I can teach you how to earn money from school, but if your life skills are not there about saving or investing, that money will disappear, right? So there are children who earn 4 times the amount of their father used to earn because they finished their education. But their uncles will come and ask them for money.
Yeah.
They will buy a fancy bike and they badu paisa
ઉડી જશે.
Uri jase. So the idea is, how do you teach these children life skills? So what I'm doing now is I'm spending time with all these 2 lakh children that are part of the NGO and all the beneficiaries on seeing how we can learn these kinds of life skills and teach them. हमारा एक विजन है कि we learn these life skills from school. Like you said right in the beginning of the interview, moral science ma they taught us these things. But moral science was one small aspect. How to make friends, how to treat money. These are life skills nobody teaches. And we are expected to learn from our parents, and half the times our parents don't know these things.
Yeah, because
Correct.
they've also not had
They've
the
not had
exposure.
it, no? So the whole thing is that if we can create a culture of learning, that our life can be completely different if we start understanding what our habits are and how we can tweak it. So yes, there is a plan on taking it not just to tier 2, tier 3 cities, but to tiny villages, because if India's roots are strong, then
yeah.
money comes up. And it is amazing to see how responsive these children are. They are hungry. Actually, metro ma એટલું hunger નથી.
પડી નથી. હા.
Right? Life chale. Comfort chhe.
Yeah.
But these children are hungry. They want to know more. And that is where I want to spend a lot more time focusing.
Yeah, the lack gives them that push to do better, to learn. And you know,
And they're seeing it on TV.
Exactly.
And they're saying that maybe I can also do
આ
it.
થઈ શકે છે. Right.
So that is the way that I'm saying, how do we make this message reach far more people than what I can just do myself?
And when you started working, of course, તમે independently શરૂ કર્યું અને પછી એક ટીમ બિલ્ડ કરવી, લાઇક માઇન્ડેડ લોકોને ભેગા કરવા, એ આખી જે પ્રોસેસ હતી એ કેટલી ડિફિકલ્ટ હતી? બિકોઝ યુ નો યુ હેડ ધ ક્લેરિટી કે તમારે શું કરવું છે. તમે કોઈને હાયર કરો તમારી સાથે કામ કરવા માટે કે તમારે માટે કામ કરવા માટે, તો એ પર્સનની વેવલેન્થ પણ એ લેવલ પર હોવી જોઈએ, અથવા તો એ ડિરેક્શનમાં જોવા માટે માણસ તૈયાર હોવો જોઈએ. બહુ નેસેસરી છે. અને જોબ ઇઝ અ જોબ. સી વોટ એવર વી સે, ગુજરાતીમાં કહેવત છે, કરી કરીને ન કરી એ નોકરી. સો યુ નો, ઇવન ઇફ સમન ઇઝ વર્કિંગ વિથ યુ ઇન યોર ટીમ, હાઉ do you decide કે what kind of people you know will you work with, અને તમે એ કેવી રીતે આખી ટીમ તમારી build up કરી?
Lovely. First thing is that when I was thinking about the habit coaching business, I decided not to have a team. Okay, I said that it will be me plus lots of freelancers. So I want people to create their own businesses, not rely on somebody for a job. This is my mentality, saying that when you have your own business, you take it far more seriously than if you were in a naukri, like you said.
Yeah.
Correct. If it was your business, then you take it more seriously. So I prefer working with people who are running their own businesses rather than being a part of on a salary for me. And that's how I see it. Those people are more motivated, and if they understand the kind of idea that I'm doing, it's better. Also during the lockdown, I started working with people who are fans of the podcast or of what I was doing, and they were giving their time free. It was almost like a, you know, like how you donate time to an NGO.
Yeah.
That was how they were donating time, so that they could also feel like they're part of something that is making a change in the world. It is all about finding the right personality of person that you want. Someone who's hungry and someone who wants to see the world become better. You know, otherwise we are very ego.
Yeah,
only
yeah.
me.
Absolutely.
If you can start saying, no, it's us. That's the kind of person
That
I
makes
work.
a lot of difference. Yeah.
And an enthusiasm and energy hovi જોઈએ.
That is very important. Neither
એકદમ dead duck ના
can't
ગમે.
work with people like that, of course not. અને આઈ વોન્ટેડ ટુ આસ્ક કે તમે બચ્ચાઓ માટે પણ ચોપડી લખી છે, તમે જે લોકો કોર્પોરેટ્સમાં હશે એ લોકો સાથે પણ ડીલ કર્યું છે, કયા એજ ગ્રુપ સાથે કે કયા માઇન્ડસેટ સાથે કામ કરવું બહુ જ ડિફિકલ્ટ હોય છે? ટીનેજર્સ ઓર પીપલ ઇન ધ 30s ઓર પીપલ ઇન ધ 40s?
There's no such thing as difficult. what it is, it's understanding that person. So I spend a lot of time talking to CEOs. That is what I'm good at. I was giving a conference to 250 CEOs where I was talking about habits. Then 2 months later, I'm talking to 700 children, and I was so scared talking to the children. CEOs, I know how to talk to. Children, how do I talk to? But these bachas are so smart. We think that they are, they don't know anything, but they are thinking. And
they have more questions.
They have more questions. They are curious. They didn't want to let go of me, and we were having such an exciting time. So I think this was what I thought was going to be the scariest, which was talking to children. Once children understand why they need to be doing it, then there is no tension.
Yeah, એટલે CEO કદાચ અડધેથી પડતું મૂકશે પણ બચ્ચાઓ તો નહીં જ મૂકે.
And children are so used to being forced. Em kar, instead of being taught kai kar. And I think once we teach them why you should do it, then they're like, it makes sense, I'm going to do it this way. So there's a lot of hunger in children, which you don't see necessarily in CEOs, because in CEOs they're like, I know this. Children are like, I want to know.
I want to know. You talk to so many people and podcast and 5 episodes a week and your workshops and conferences. એમાં પછી તમને ચોપડી લખવાનો પણ ટાઈમ મળ્યો. How? What are your habits? What do you do? How do you manage?
24 hours બધાની પાસે છે. Correct? Everyone
Don't tell
has
me
it.
you wake up at 4 o'clock.
5:30. 4, only psycho people wake up at 4. 5:30 I wake up, and I finish all my work by 9:30. So what I have done is I've used that morning time when everybody else is sleeping in a very focused manner. So at that point of time, badhu script writing pati gyo, whatever book writing pati gyo, anything that I need to do by myself is over. Then all my meetings start. So like interviews like this would start, meeting clients would start, workshops would start. So then it is about other people. And by 5:30 my battery is now slowly switching off. So after that I don't have any meetings. That is when I meet friends, for example, or that is when I will go for a walk, or I'll read my books. So that is how I spend my day.
What time do you sleep?
10:30.
Okay.
It is important to realize that our bodies are actually supposed to sleep by 8:39, not 12:31. So you have to at least make a compromise.
How to change that habit? I mean, I think that is the problem with almost 10 માંથી 9 જણાને આ પ્રોબ્લેમ હશે કે યાર રાત્રે 1 વાગી જાય છે પછી how to manage in the morning.
You start sleeping half an hour early, bus. Amna, what time do you sleep? 1 o'clock? Start sleeping at 12:30.
I've started doing that. 12:30 પર હું આપી ગઈ છું. In fact, I'm on 12 now.
Correct.
If I talk about myself.
Perfect.
I'm on 12 now.
So 12. Once 12 is easy, 11:30. And what you have to do is, many people, especially India, big problem hai, we eat dinner very late. 9:30, 10, 10:30.
But then you are working in Bandra, you have to travel all the way back, and then so it's not always possible. I mean, I'm sure it's not just me, it's a story of a lot of people. I mean, I remember when there was a time when I will not eat anything after 8 o'clock. But now I reach home at 8:30. What do I do?
It is difficult. You have to make those choices on whether you want to start eating earlier. Like I had a client who said that I can't reach home by 8:30. I will have my dinner in office. So she had her lunch and dinner in office before leaving. But I'm saying that she found a solution around it in this way. The other way of doing it is you have your dinner late, but you skip your breakfast, so that at least you're giving yourself time for that you're not eaten. Intermittent fasting is very important in this regard. So in this way, you can figure out something that you can make a life change in. Very often we feel helpless, and that helplessness doesn't push you to change.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can always tweak something small, right? Instead of having
Baby
a big
steps.
dinner, have a smaller dinner.
Yeah.
Something like this you can start doing.
Baby steps,
Babies.
as they say.
We call them stupidly small habits. Ekdam stupidly small. That means that you should feel so stupid not doing it. It was so easy to do. How can I not do it?
Yeah, how can I not do
That way.
True. Interesting. And when you coach people, when you meet people in person, I'm sure, because when we talk to someone who is basically helping us and changing our lives, we feel a certain connection. There was this film, Dear Zindagi, એમાં બિચારી આલિયા ભટ્ટના એના ડોક્ટરના પ્રેમમાં જ પડી ગઈ almost. So has that happened to you? It's a professional hazard, right? You don't know how to deal with all the affection and love that you're receiving. What do you do when a situation like that arises?
It's a very true thing, because for many people, they don't have somebody that they can confide in.
True.
Right? And for the first time, they have put all the defenses down. And while, we say that it's falling in love, it is actually an intimate moment when you're telling me something about your childhood.
course.
It is a very intimate moment. The difference is what way you want to translate that love. You can translate it into being brotherly love. It can be translated into different forms of love. It doesn't only have to be a naughty form of love. Correct? So the way is to always have that and tread carefully. You have to be very clear on what your boundaries are as a person in authority. You're an authority at this point.
Yeah.
So that is the way.
In that film Dear Zindagi that I mentioned, there was a very nice dialogue that genius is to know where to stop. So I think that's what you are also saying here.
And I keep telling my clients saying that I don't want to be a crutch for you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm there just for.
I'm here for this moment. I'm obviously going to be there with you in the future if you need me.
But kayam nathi hai.
I want you to be strong, not rely on me.
True. So you spoke about talking to CEOs and students, and see, commerce is commerce, science is science, and CAs are CAs and CEOs are CEOs. But then there is this one stream where you have written books, and even if you are writing a book about habits, it's not a fiction like Jeffrey Archer. It has to be interesting.
Yes.
You know that you have to cater to a certain kind of audience. પણ ડાન્સ છે, મ્યુઝિક છે, રાઇટિંગ છે, પેઇન્ટિંગ છે, એ બધા ફિલ્ડ એવા છે ને કે એમાં ઘણીવાર લોકો એ વિચારથી જાય કે અરે હું તો આર્ટિસ્ટ છું, ખાદીનો ઝબ્બો પહેરીશ, ઝોલો ઉચકીશ અને આમ બે કવિતાઓ બોલી દઈશ કે બે બ્રશ સ્ટ્રોક મારી દઈશ, ચાલી જશે. પણ આઈ થિંક મને એવું લાગે છે કે બીજા બધા પ્રોફેશન કરતાં આ પ્રોફેશન્સમાં બહુ જ વધારે ડેડિકેશન અને બહુ વધારે ફોકસની જરૂર હોય છે. વોટ વિલ યુ સે ટુ પીપલ હુ આર બેસિકલી ટ્રાઇંગ ટુ મેક અ કરિયર out of becoming an artist in any field, performing arts hoy, visual art hoy, or writing for that matter, because creative field ni વાત કરું તો what would you say to people who think અરે આપણે તો creative છીએ એટલે આપણે તો એકદમ અને પેલું યુરેકા મોમેન્ટ આવશે ને બધું થઈ જશે?
That is the problem. We think કે જ્યારે inspiration આવશે ત્યારે હું કરસ, right? Inspiration આવશે ત્યારે હું art કરસ. But you have to look at the best artists in the world. They looked at their art like a business.
Exactly.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonardo da Vinci.
I love this.
He painted every day, right? He drew every day. He went to study anatomy so that he could draw better. And in this way, you have to start thinking about your own career. There was a beautiful story about a violinist who played one note for 6 months.
Yeah.
One note for 6 months. He drove his wife crazy, he drove the neighbors crazy, badhan crazy thai. Before he said that, I will now play the rest of the notes. That one note was so important for him. You have to, as an artist, put in the same work that you do like in business. So when I was writing my book, I realized this because I wanted to write a book 5 years ago. Didn't happen. Till I realized that every day I have to write 750 words. 750 words every day. And only then does it actually happen. And that is how the books got completed. So it is very simple. Whatever field you are in, set time aside and set your energy aside to practice this every day. Only once you practice it will you get good at it.
તમે જ્યારે શરૂ કર્યું એ પહેલાં તો યુ રેડ સમ બુક્સ અને સી આપણે જેમ જેમ કામ કરતા જઈએ આપણે ઇવોલ્વ પણ થવાનું આપણું પોતાનું પણ જરૂરી હોય છે. તો તમે કોઈ બીજા કોર્सेस કર્યા? હાઉ ડીડ યુ એડ વેલ્યુ ટુ યોર વર્ક બાય એડિંગ સમથિંગ ઇન યોર સેલ્ફ, મેબી સમ કોર્सेस? વોટ કાઇન્ડ ઓફ જર્ની યુ ચોઝ?
What I do is I dedicate a few months to a particular aspect.
અચ્છા.
So many years ago, the first things I started learning was exercise. I was loving exercise. So how does the body work?
Science of exercise.
Science of
basically.
exercise. How does the body work? Anatomy. I spent time sitting in a physiotherapist office to learn physiotherapy.
Wow.
I then went and started learning nutrition. Then I spent time in nutritionist office. Like this, I spent time doing these things. Then slowly from the physical body, it became mental well-being. So I spent lots of time with psychologists. Now it is more spirituality. So it's understanding how we think about the world spiritually. And in this way, what is happening is you are evolving with your thoughts. We spend so much time talking about Lakshmi in this podcast.
Yeah.
But where does the word Lakshmi come from? It comes from the word Lakshya.
Yeah.
That means that this is the goddess that will give you your goal.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have a goal, how will Lakshmi come?
True.
Correct? Which is why we have so many different forms of Lakshmi, Grah Lakshmi, Dhan Lakshmi. All
Yeah.
of those
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
Lakshmis are there because everyone has different kinds of goals. So you suddenly start seeing that your life is not just the food that you eat or the exercise that you do. It's so many different parts. And when you see your life completely like this, then you'd be curious about knowing more and more and more. And I think if there's one habit that you take away from this interview is the habit of curiosity. Just become curious about how is the world working.
True.
Automatically you will start learning new things and automatically you will start earning new things.
And of course, you have written 3 books and મારા બધા જ વ્યુઅર્સને મારે કહેવું છે કે તમારી ચોપડીઓ તો વાંચે જ, પણ એવી કઈ બુક્સ છે જે માણસે પોતાની લાઈફ ચેન્જ કરવાનું જો એ વિચારતો હોય તો ડેફિનેટલી વાંચવી જોઈએ, અથવા તો એવા કયા પુસ્તકો છે જેના લીધે તમને સો બેસિકલી દેર આર સમ બુક્સ દે આર લાઈક બાઇબલ્સ ફોર અસ.
Correct.
એ તમને એવું થાય કે ના આ તો this is like I have to go back to this book. It can be a fiction, a non-fiction, anything. So if you can.
So the books
share.
that I like and I go back to every year, the first book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich is not just about money, it is about a mindset. The second book is about the richest man in Babylon. Richest Man in Babylon is a very easy book to read that teaches you how to think about money. So 10% goes into investment, 10% goes into service. It is a very simple formula that he gives in those books. So these 2 books I think are must reads for everybody on a yearly basis. And the third book, you can probably put one of my books. One Habit a Day. By Ashdin Doctor. I think is
Yes.
this book to put inside.
Of course. The book, I was just talking to Mosam and I said the books have created quite a buzz.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
okay.
very lucky.
The best compliment that you have gotten from someone?
I love being in your presence.
Oh, yeah.
I think
it says about everything, the aura, the way you talk, the way you treat others.
Yes.
I think that
the interest that you show in people. Because I know 10 years ago I would not be somebody that you'd want to hang out with. Because I was, like I said, I had low energy, I was probably cranky. Every problem that people are going through right now, I went through my own journey of transformation. I was nice and overweight, I was stubby, I would sleep 4 hours a night, and finally I collapsed on the floor also at the age of 31 when I was getting ready for a meeting and I had probably not slept for 2 days in a row. Body said, "Abe bas," and I collapsed. Now 31 collapsing is very scary. Right?
Yeah.
My face looked like I was already 50, and it was that kind of time. And for me, like I said, the reason I said is the greatest compliment is that people have seen that transformation change. And they were like, back then that Ashdin I didn't understand. This one I can spend as much time as I want with. So I think that is the reason why I said this. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's my mission.
So you changed your life. You started making money. You taught other people how to make money. Wow. And I believe before before we sign off, એક સવાલ છેલ્લો કે કોઈ પણ જે કદાચ તમારાથી ઇન્સ્પાયર થઈને આવું કંઈક કરવા માગતું હોય, એને એવી ક્યુરિયોસિટી હોય કે કેટલું જ કમાઈ લઈશું. કારણ કે એઝ આઈ સેડ કે મેટ્રોઝમાં હજી લોકો ક્યુરિયસ હોય છે આ વસ્તુઓ કરવા માટે. ટુ મેક ગુડ અર્નિંગ આઉટ ઓફ વોટ યુ આર ડુઈંગ, કઈ વસ્તુઓનું ધ્યાન રાખીને શરૂઆત કરવી જોઈએ? If you can give a nice tip from your side, and maybe I don't know if it is right for me to ask you, maybe give an idea that a decent amount can be earned, because this buzz is all about business, so that will be great.
The way to think about it is, and this is the way I think, is that the amount you earn is equal to the value that you create in somebody's life. Okay. So your salary is directly proportional to the amount of value you're creating for a business. You want to earn more salary, that means that you have to first figure out how you can add more value to this business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Correct? It's not that you go and say, "Mane jasti paisa joye." Kathi aapse. Right? You add more value, you will get more money. The same way, if you want to start something new, you have to constantly ask yourself, how can I keep increasing the value to this person? Right? And if you start thinking like this, then you're not thinking thousands of rupees. You're not thinking lakhs of rupees. You're thinking unlimited. Think about it. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest men in the world. Why?
Yeah.
Can you imagine your life without Amazon?
No.
Can you imagine the value he's added to
yeah.
millions of people?
Yeah.
So he's not rich for nothing. You know, he's added this much value to people's lives. Now you ask yourself, people who are complaining about money, how much value are they adding to people's lives? And if you start saying, you know what, for the next 6 months I will not think about money. I will just focus on how much value I can create in people around me. I'll do it for free. And let's see, I'll tell you an example, okay, on why not to think about money. Started my business, Habit Coaching. Through the lockdown, it was booming because everyone was sitting at home. Paisa, right? I was earning so much money. I was working from 7 in the morning till 9 in the night every day.
Oh God.
Huh?
Okay.
And happily.
Yeah.
And happily. Then, for 2 years, there came a thought in my mind saying that I will not charge anybody for my services. For 2 years, I will give everything away free. I told all my clients that from now onwards, do not pay me. I will spend as much time as you want with you, but don't pay me. Not one person took that offer and spent time with me. They said, if I can't pay you, I'm not going to be with you. And as a result, I had so much free time that I started adding value to people's lives randomly. 2 years later, the amount I was charging in the beginning increased by 8x after 2 years because people saw the amount of value I generated in those 2 years. Now, it doesn't make sense logically to say that I will not take money and then, but the point is that if you just start doing things for others, others will come and do things for you. We are constantly looking saying, Mane su malse pachi hu tane apas. I'm saying you turn it around. Hu apas. And I know universe mane apse. And it's crazy to see how much money you can earn using this technique.
And then when we say money, it's not just, like cash. એ લોકોનો અપ્રોચ હોય, એટીટ્યુડ હોય, એ લોકોના બ્લેસિંગ્સ હોય, એ પણ એક રીતે તો, it's money, it's currency.
Correct.
And money is what? It's energy at the end of the day.
Yeah, like we say energy exchange.
Yeah, energy exchange. Yes, exactly. So it was lovely talking to you. This
Same here.
energy exchange was really wonderful. બહુ જ મજા આવી વાત કરવાની. અને thanks a lot. And I'm sure તમારી ટેવ અને આદતો તમે બદલજો અને બીજાની ટેવ અને આદતો બદલી અને મસ્ત ચકાચક મની માઇન્ડેડ મિલિયનર થઈ જજો, રાઈટ?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. It was lovely talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you.
સબસ્ક્રાઇબ કરો ગુજરાતી મિડડે. બેલ આઇકોન પર ક્લિક કરીને મેળવો તમામ વિડીયોના ડાયરેક્ટ નોટિફિકેશન.